your camera, but hello.
Yeah, I did get a little bit closer, didn't I? I have a
Yeah,
tendency to creep up on you a little bit there.
I can see your eyeballs, but I'm pretty far away, so I'm gonna try to make my eyeballs visible.
Dude, I haven't even been high in like 4 days.
Yeah, high visibles.
Oh man, I'm like remembering where, like, well, I don't know.
I don't actually currently remember shit.
Something probably though, man. It's cool. It's really cool. Still love caffeine though. Oh, we're sponsored by the way today by Red Bull. So thanks, Red Bull. Mm-mm. They want me
Psychologically, I had to drink.
They want me to specify it does not give you wings. They got sued over that.
That's something.
So I've called you all here today, and by you all I mean Anthony, and you all watching at home, our loyal fan base of Floyd and Dre. I've called you all here today because we're about halfway through the Winter Anime 2016 season, and I've managed to keep up with all of the new series that I like, and I've actually even been able to get caught up on a few other ones. Obviously, that's because I don't have a girlfriend. So Anthony has a girlfriend, and unfortunately, that means that he has no time to do anything. He has no anime. So
Zero time. Only reason I'm on the fucking thing right now is because she's not here.
Not even there. But this video, we got to speed this up because as soon as she comes in, it's like lights out.
Lights out. She's not like that. Once she sees this video, I need to leave the disclaimer. Chris, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I was just kidding. We're good.
I'm so sorry, Crystal. Okay, so what I'm gonna do though is, like I said, I'm caught up. And all of the anime that are new are at about episode 5, and all the ones that were continued are at about episode 17 or 18. So I'm gonna take this opportunity to try to convince my good friend Anthony to just watch a couple. We're just gonna pick a couple, and I'm gonna say why I think that these are the ones that he needs to get caught up on. And maybe he is caught up on some of them.
We'll see. Probably not.
Probably not, though. All right. So we're going to start with what I think is the surprise hit of the season. And it's actually only at episode, I think, 4, because it started a week late. And it is called Asian Demi-Human. And unfortunately, it's I believe it's owned by Netflix, and they are holding it hostage currently. They're not going to show it anywhere outside of Japan until this summer. But I'm on that new. Like, I gotta stay current. So I'm at nya.se, like constantly looking for it. And one of the main problems with it is it comes out on Fridays, and it's like such an oddball that they're struggling to find people to fan sub it. So like the first episode didn't come out for like 6 days with fan subs, and like I don't know Japanese that well. I took it in high school for a couple of years, but anyone who's taken Japanese knows that a couple of years studying Japanese amounts to nothing because it just takes forever. So I can read hiragana and I like know like like the basic stuff, but anyway, I can't watch raw anime. So you have to wait for someone to sub it, and it usually takes about 5 days for someone to actually get it out. But it is one of the most insane stories I've ever seen. Basically, these Asians are these beings. There's like 42 of them or so, I think, in the world, and 3 known ones in Japan. And an Asian is an immortal being that cannot die. It looks like a human. Everything about it is human, and you don't even find out that you are an Asian until you die. And if you happen to come back to life, you're an Asian. And you would think that would be really cool. Unfortunately, the government immediately seeks you out because these Asians are extremely dangerous, and they're also obviously you can learn a lot about that, from experimenting on them because they're immortal. So unfortunately, what the government does a lot of the time is these Asians have to immediately escape because everyone hates them. They're kind of looked at. It's total Naruto syndrome. Like everyone in the village hates them immediately. It's not a village because it's modern day Japan, but you get what I'm saying. So these Asians, as soon as they come back to life and realize they're an Asian, they're like, fuck, I have to run away into the wilderness and get away from all contact, or, ditch my cell phone, stuff like that. The cops are coming for me, and there's a bounty on his head. So anyway, his buddy, his name is Kay, and his buddy Kai, which is pretty confusing while you're watching the show. It's like make the second guy like Tom or like Steve or something. Like don't make him K and Kai. Anyway, his buddy Kai gets on a motorcycle with him and tells him he's going to take him to safety, and it's going to be the story of him helping out the Ajin and etc. And at that point, it was a pretty good story. But then you start finding out that there's other Ajins out there that the government doesn't know about. And they have like a black demi-human thing that like materializes when they get like angry or upset or they're like pushed into a corner. They also have like weird vocal powers where they can like kind of like a I don't it's not necessarily sonar like a bat, but it's kind of like it's like a sound that they can emit that certain insects in real life can emit, and it like paralyzes the foe. So these people that are changing them, they can kind of give them like a crazy like scream, and they'll just like a dude chasing them on a motorcycle would all of a sudden fall off of his motorcycle because he's been paralyzed while he's driving a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is it's hard to find. It's annoying, but this is
I hate those.
I know. Anthony likes to stick to Crunchyroll particularly, and then eventually you can sometimes get him to branch out to Funimation. But taking it beyond that is difficult, even when it's like Hulu, or I remember Blood Lad was on Viz and stuff like that.
Yeah. Man, I'll never watch a Viz show. You'll never get me to do it. But
that's difficult, obviously, because there's commercials. And
I hate commercials. I'll pay for anything to avoid commercials.
Right. So there's
I do.
Right. and I do. So, but the problem is it honestly has the coolest sci-fi plot so far, and I might not even done it justice, but like basically we've finally gotten to the point where people's demi-humans are going to start like attacking each other, but it's super crazy. Like it's very violent and very sci-fi. There's a lot of blood, and it also, I would say, out of all the new shows, it has the best cliffhangers. It is the one where something incredible happens in the last 3 seconds of every episode, and you're like,
"Oh man!" Like Tengen Toppa, Girl in the Gun.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like exactly like that.
It's like that, where but even more so because it's a universe that you just don't understand, and they're revealing the information to you in a very calculated way.
Yeah, I love that.
I can't even explain it to you because everyone is a spoiler. Like it's so good that like at the end of episode 3, you're like, oh my god, well I guess the show's over because they lost. And then right at the beginning of episode 4, it will directly immediately continue with like to give you, it's not an example from the show, but if it was Naruto, it would be like you would, at the end of episode 3, you would see Naruto like stabbed dead on the ground, and you'd be like, cool, Naruto's finally done. Yeah. But then at the beginning of the next episode, that stabbed version of Naruto on the ground would immediately turn to like a shadow clone log with like kunais in it.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't have known that he had that power prior to that episode. So it would be impossible for you to predict.
That's a good way to put it.
So I'm desperately pleading with you to watch Ajin.
I only have one more final question, Bob.
What's that? I'm Alex, by the way. Bob's my
shameless Space Ghost quote is, how's the girlfriend gonna like it? You know what I mean? What's the girl appeal?
Okay. I think that your girlfriend would like it because the way that I can best describe it is the plot, despite having superpowers and taking place in Japan,
which she loves.
I would say that it's an American style story. I would say that it is not so fantastic that a girlfriend would think that you were weird for watching it, or you're watching something that's too young for you. It's very clearly an adult show.
Yeah,
I think kind of helps, like similar to Death Note in that fashion.
Yeah,
it's like it's an adult show. Like you can't mistake it for a cartoon, period. And I would say that it's got enough like murder mystery kind of element to it to keep someone it's not riding on anything that you have to inherently like anime for. It's not riding on like a harem thing. It's not riding on like a superpowers thing. Like, oh, I've got fire, you've got ice. Like, it's not a martial arts tournament. I would say that it goes beyond being an animated show. Like, if this was a live action movie, it would sell very well.
Well, you've pitched this one very well, sir.
Right. I know.
All right, and remind us once again what the name of it is.
It is called Asian Demi-Human, and unfortunately, like I said, Netflix has a stranglehold on it. They say it'll come out, you know, around June or July here, but I'm on that new, and I can't wait for Netflix. And also, I'm offended that they would withhold it from me.
I'm gonna try to find one of those newfangled internet services that makes my IP address look like I'm Japanese, and then I'll be able to access Netflix all that I'd like.
Perhaps you should try to do that. A British gentleman at my place of employment is doing that very thing so that he can get wacky British television shows, which have just a horrible sense of humor. God, I hate Monty Python. All right, let's move forward. I'm sorry, everyone. Listen, no one likes comedy as much as me. Monty Python it just irritates me. So moving on. Let me think here. Undefeated Bahamut Chronicles, okay, but I wouldn't pitch it to you because it's another download one, and it's kind of cool, but it's not one of the top 10 probably. But I'll keep watching it, and I'll let you know when it's over if it's worth downloading.
Word.
I'm just kind of scrolling through my list here because I watch so many that I have to write these down or I'll forget to keep watching them.
Really good list.
It is a good list. We'll share it with you next season. Girls Beyond the Wasteland. It's another download one. So I'm sorry to throw these download ones at you, but I know it's likely for you to see them. Girls Beyond the Wasteland is funny for us because for those of you who know Anthony and I, and our other partners, Andre and Floyd, we're all making an anime together, and we've always made websites together. We're like a web development kind of team, and we just enjoy making video games and apps and anything that you can think of. So we've got all this creativity exuding out of us, and we just make sure to turn it into something because if you ever stop making things, you might as well be dead, in my opinion. So we're trying to make our show Type 0, and basically Girls Beyond the Wasteland is about a girl who desperately wants to make a video game, a dating simulation video game, but it's about the process of making an anime and a video game to go with it and stuff like that. So it's interesting because, well, I guess to me it's interesting as a creative person just because I can truly relate to it. Like I was saying to you last week, Anthony, like it's really funny because they got to the point where they had to make the website. Like it's been funny, man. Like it's exactly like what we're doing. Like they're like, okay, we got to come up with a script. Like one episode's about coming up with the script. One episode's about getting the crew together. They had one where they like wrote a theme song. Like it's funny because you could, as anyone who's ever tried to create, like you can completely relate to it. So I think it was episode 4 or 5. I'm not sure which one, but there's one where they got to the point where they're supposed to make the website, and it was cracking me up. We're both 29 years old, born in 1986. So when we started making websites, it was like 1998 or like 1999. And anyone who remembers the internet back then, that was a different world. Like that was the wild, wild west of the internet. And no one had any idea on like how you were supposed to do things. There was no set formula. Everyone was just going for it. But what you had was a lot of like things, some like programs that would help you develop websites. What was the one that started with H that had like its own? I mean, obviously there was like
scripts.
No, there was GeoCities and Angel Fire. were like,
oh yeah, and
like main ones that would let you like upload, but there was one that started with an H, and it actually had like a video like website creator tutorial thing. It was so bad, and it would just give you like all these options that could only make you look like a total noob. But we were like 13 and it was 1998, so everyone was noobs. And we were like, you know, we at the time it was literally if you liked anime, you liked Dragon Ball Z, and the website that you would go to would be planetnamek.com, if anyone remembers that, or Daizenshu EX, or for me, Templo Trunks, because I loved Mary's music videos, and I still do. Ginga Guri Guri was another one that I really liked. DB Info Archives was a big one. Planet O Vegeta was huge. No Limit DB was amazing. Anyway,
DBGT.
yeah, I just shamelessly plugged our websites at the end. I was an info writer in Saiyans Lair that had 6,000 unique hits per day, and so that was very exciting for me at being like 12 years old at the time. Anyway, this game anime, they're making the website, and the main web designer that they have that's like on Anthony's current level right now, which is very talented, she quits. She just up and quits. She gets mad. She's difficult to work with. And it's funny too, because she was having the same problems that we were having where with me, where she was taking, and I'm her in this situation where she was taking everyone else's stuff and she was just like arbitrarily changing it because she in her head was like, well, this is better if we do it this way, but not actually like consulting with anyone. So like she got the script, and then her job was to like import it into like the game and like make the website about it. And then they go and look at it and they're like, this isn't really how I wrote this exactly. And she's like, oh no, I made it better, like that kind of stuff. And you know, you have to eventually kind of learn that you need to stay in your lane, and you know what I mean? Yeah. So she gets checked, she gets hip checked, told to stay in her lane, and she doesn't want to stay in her lane. She gets all pissy about it and she quits. Yeah. So one of the other girls that doesn't know anything about websites has to like jump in and make the website real quick. And it was just really funny because she was so proud of it. And she's like, look how good this website is that I made. And it's got like text and like you can't see it, but you can just see everyone's reactions. And like the one guy is like, why is there horizontal text? It's like streaming across. And then, you know, and the other girl's like, oh my God, why when I move around the cursor, why is there like a little cartoon mouse that follows the cursor around with it? And it was just funny because she was doing like all the like do you remember those custom
all those old school 90s scripts that they gave us?
All the 90s faux pas, and it was just very funny. So anyway, like I won't I'll get off my tangent on this, but I really think that anyone who's ever actually tried to make a video game, or especially tried to make a website, or you know, like manga, or any creative process with like 5 people, I think that you could really enjoy this one. And it's been kind of a theme. There was Seiyu's Life a couple of seasons ago, where it was the just like the life of a voice actor, and it was actually very informative. And as someone who I graduated from film school, it was funny because it was the first couple episodes where they're talking about, you know, like script reading and table reading and like all this stuff and like audio recording equipment. Like it was true. It was very accurate. Like if you wanted to learn about voice acting, that's actually a cool thing to watch. And I think if you wanted to learn about just a very basic creative approach, I think that this is interesting too.
Yeah, you've been bringing it up for a minute, and maybe I'm just resisting it because I'm afraid I'll notice the comparisons, you know? It might be just one of those situations where I'm just like, what if I'm one of those guys? What if I'm that web designer and you just don't want to tell me right now because you're my friend and you're nice? So
no, I'm
saying you're sugar. But I don't even believe you. Like I was listening to you and I was just like smiling and nodding, but honestly, I was just like, yeah, you're talking about me. So I'm gonna have to like hip check myself. Maybe this is actually a fight that we're having.
Well, I am talking about you, and I did want to mention that your website sucked and that you're holding us back.
I just dropped our website, and now you're talking to me about some egotistical web designer that thinks she's the shit. What are you really getting at?
I think we've reached our part of the marriage where we can never be happy again, and we just we've reached the point where the love is gone, and it's like go sleep with whoever because the passion and flame are gone. I think.
All right.
But I think that I was the web designer for sure in this case, despite not being the web designer. But I've definitely just gone through the script and been like, nope, nope, you know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
and like just like seen lines and been like, that's not how you tell that joke. This is how you tell that joke. And just like I've gone through and done that. Maybe you didn't know. Maybe
But you're the editor, so you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not. I'm gonna come up with a joke, and you're gonna have to make sure that it's right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Right. Well, I've been making sure that they're right, like every time.
I'm gonna go back and look at the revision logs and find that you've been like fiendishly changing it.
It's really right. Like everything used to be wrong, but
All right. Well, just because you really took to the role here, I'll award you. I'll definitely watch that one. So
I think that everyone's main problem with that one, at least in our crew, and something that I've learned to get over, is that it's not an action fighting superpower kind of thing. Like it's not a murder mystery. It's not sci-fi. It's like a feel-good, lighthearted thing.
yeah.
Like it's not the type of show that if it was already out, like I would not run through it. Like it would not be like a 12 episode marathon night kind of thing, like a Hunter x Hunter would be, where you're just like, I need to know what happens in the next one. Like it's I only need it for 20 minutes a week, and it just makes me laugh for 20 minutes, and then I move on with my life. So I think it's better if you're watching it casually. You don't.
It's a light watch.
I don't think I would sit there and even watch 3 in a row, but I think that just in small doses, and nothing against it. It's like a slice of life, like just light thing. And you know, my friend Dave Strzeski, who you know, obviously, he was saying to me the other day, he's like, I really want to watch some anime, but I'm depressed. I don't want to watch depressing shows right now, and I want to watch something that's like lighthearted.
Yeah.
And it was really hard to offer him a lighthearted anime because the other thing that he requires is a beginning, middle, and end. He does not want to watch One Piece because it's a serial and it's written to never end. You get what I'm saying? He's not trying to watch.
I feel you.
He's not trying to watch something that's 700 episodes, and not even because the length. It's because he wants something with a concise beginning, middle, and end, and I can respect that. So something that's 25 episodes and the plot actually finishes.
It's what he craves, and I can respect that too. Shout out to D Striz.
So, what would you recommend to him? Because honestly, the only thing I'd come up with was Rini.
So I haven't watched Rennie, so I can't even co-sign, but I'm sure it's lighthearted. I've actually relied on anime several times in life, you know what I'm saying, to be positive when I'm not really feeling it. Like I need a pick-me-up. And I've noticed that the sport anime are a genre that really keeps it positive because
I said that
But what I was afraid that you were gonna say that he was like anti-sport anime. That's literally what I was feeling on the inside. I was like, don't say that he's anti-sports because then I can't help.
Well, he likes sports in real life, but he's not going to watch the sports anime.
He just needs to see the light, man. Like one of them is going to be the one.
I tried to explain to him, I'm like, I don't even like sports movies at all in real life. Like I like Miracle, that hockey one, because it's just super positive and it's actually based off a real story. But like the replacements and like all that other stuff, it's like as a person who actually likes sports, like I can't watch sports movies because there always comes a point where it's not realistic anymore. Like they're always like the Mighty Ducks can't beat Team Iceland. They would lose 80 to 9. And like as someone who likes sports, like I just like it's not believable to me when District 5 beats Team Iceland. Like that's like they could barely skate when they were 13. And then when they were 16, they were the best team in the world. You have to start ice skating when you're like 3 years old if you want to be any good at hockey moving forward. Like you cannot start when you're in high school. You are done. Yeah. But anyway, so but anime takes you out of that element. It puts you in a different universe, especially like Kuroko's Basketball or something like that, where Anthony and I have actually gotten in many debates over Kuroko's Basketball where I'm like, too bad that's a travel. And he's like, no, it's not a travel because You know, because they're doing things that you can't do in real life, so there's no reason to specify in the actual NBA rule book if this is legal or not. But in my humble opinion, when you shoot the ball up and no one else touches it, and then you grab it again and shoot it again, that it's like, I guess you can't call it a travel because you don't move. But we literally called Anthony's dad, who is like a college basketball coach. And we're like, how, like, it's a foul. No, it's 2 fouls. You know, like I felt like we're playing flying ghost ball there for a second.
Bro, you gotta tell him the full story. Like, I took a Snapchat video of the anime itself, sent it to him as footage, and then asked him how he felt.
And he was on your side, wasn't he?
He said, like, it's kind of ridiculous, but like it seems to be legit, because he said that he left the ground. Like, once you leave the ground, it's like a self alley-oop, and you can do those. Like, Allen Iverson himself actually invented the little, well, let me do a fake alley-oop layup. You remember that? Like, he would do that in the drills all the time.
Well, I would like to see what Allen Iverson has to say about this, because I think would agree with me.
We can't call Allen Iverson, but we might be able to get in touch with Meta World Peace.
I can get a hold of Ron Artest, because we already got him in that shirt we were selling that one time.
Shameless.
And that's a true story, though.
Never lying.
The best one of the season, we still agree, is Erased. I think you're relatively caught up on that.
It came out today, so actually I can't wait for episode 5.
Today. So you see last week's, though?
Yeah, I did.
I don't want to give away too many spoilers, so we'll talk about it later, but that was crazy, though, right?
Everything's great. It's a very good show.
Now, what do you think makes Erased stand out? Off the top
What's really up with Erased? Erased has a first of all, it's a little bit more dynamic in its protagonist, because we'll hear his like narrator voice being his old self, and then we'll see the kid almost being like his avatar or something. So it's really
not to cut you off, but I'll explain that real quick. Basically, if you haven't seen any of Erased, and this is not really a spoiler because this is like first episode stuff, he basically has the superpower he doesn't control. He'll be walking down the street, and time will rewind out of nowhere on him for an indiscriminate amount of time, usually like 5-10 minutes, or like sometimes 10 seconds. And when time rewinds on him, it took him a while to learn this, but now he realizes that means basically that he's been given an opportunity to fix something, to save someone. In the first time we see him use the power, there's a man who is driving a truck, and he falls asleep, and he ends up like killing like a child or something, I think.
Yeah.
And time rewinds, and he gets to go ride up on his bike next to this guy who's in the truck and kind of like grab the steering wheel, and the guy's already dead. Like, the guy in the truck had a heart attack while he was driving, and he kind of just like makes it so that the truck crashes off somewhere else and doesn't hurt anyone else, and he saves the kid's life. And it's basically
goes to the hospital.
It's basically, yeah, he takes a hit.
Sorry, that was a spoiler.
Very selfless. But anyway, that's his power. He gets to go fix things. If you watched our previous video, I related it to a TV show that used to be on at like 3 in the morning when we were in middle school. I think it was called The Early Edition. And basically, this one guy just somehow magically got tomorrow's newspaper delivered to him the previous day. And he would look at all the bad news, like this person got murdered, this bank got robbed, and he would have 24 hours to take this newspaper around and like stop the crimes of his choice, kind of deal. It's a little bit similar to that, but it's a little bit crazier than that. Yeah. So he basically, at the end of episode 1, gets sent back after he's always been sent back like a few minutes. He's 29, so we can relate to this, but
he's directly 29.
He's our age, but he gets sent back to 1988. I think the show takes place in like 2000 something, but he gets like 2006 or something. But he gets sent back to 1988, and all of a sudden he's like 8 years old again, and he's like in like 3rd grade, and he realizes that he has to stop this girl in his class from getting like abducted and murdered, because that was something that happened in his childhood that was very traumatic for him, and it ends up affecting him in real life at the end of episode 1 in a way that I will not give away the spoiler for. Right. So sorry to cut you off, but that's the explanation of how his narrator's voice is still 29 years old, because it's everyone's dream where you get sent back to high school, but you have your current mind and you're just like, oh man, I'm just gonna crush all these tests and like hit on everyone, and you know, like I'll and I'll be the funniest person, and I'll bet on the Super Bowl and all that, and like he gets sent back into that position, but he's like focused on stopping this murder.
Yeah, he doesn't take advantage of it too selfishly.
He's not Biff from Back to the Future. He's not. Although he could be, and he should. I would have
been. We know that he isn't because of like his personality type, but I'm sure that eventually he's gonna have to be shown some situations where he does have to be selfish, man, because he is definitely not protecting himself too well. It's dangerous out there.
I think he should bet on Spud Webb to win the dunk contest. No one saw that coming. Like 5'3", 5'5". Well, Muggsy Bogues 5'3". I think Spud Webb's 5'5", 5'6". I'm gonna have to look that up.
Muggsy Bogues, I think he had to have been smaller.
Yeah, Muggsy Bogues didn't win the dunk contest. Muggsy Bogues 5'3" because my mom's 5'3", and that was how I always remembered it. I was like, man, wow. That's what Muggsy Bogues is like.
Your mom's 5'3"?
Yeah.
Huh.
My dad's 5'8", and I'm 5'8" and change because I'm like a little bit taller than him.
Yeah, continuing evolution.
I'm the man of the house by being slightly taller.
You look down at your dad?
No.
You look directly at your dad.
I'm just like, hello, Dad. No, we're pretty much at eye level. I mean, if I'm staring straight at him, though, I'm looking at his eyebrows.
Yeah, and that you know, that means something. One time I was in a really intimidating situation with a black belt adult dad, and since I was taller than him, I just gave him like a hard chin up, regardless of what ridiculousness that we were in a real tight situation. It was tight, you know it. I'm not gonna bring it up. But I promised the guy that I was about as dominant in posture compared to him as.
Right.
All right. Anyways, super sidetracked. But yeah, I was really just saying I like his personality because like he slips up and says what he's thinking way more often. Like I don't think I've ever really seen that joke in anime.
He does, doesn't he? He's like, it's like the classic like Norm Macdonald. Like, did I just say that out loud? You know what I mean? Just like I have to go lift weights. What? You know, just like shocked. And it's funny too because he really likes this girl.
Yeah.
And they're both like 9, but he's not 9, you know, like it's like
he's super mature.
He's 29, yeah. So it's weird though because you don't get a weird vibe from it though, because you're watching 2 9-year-olds and you know that when they were growing up he liked her and that he, you know what I mean? So it's funny.
No, it's legit. I mean, he feels weird about it, but even though like he lets himself continue, so like you can tell that he accepts it even though it's kind of strange. So like he's cool with it, I'm cool with it, her dad's cool with it. She doesn't have a dad.
But that one's on Crunchyroll and that one's pretty good, and I think that's like the generally agreed upon one.
Yeah.
I need you to just like I need you to talk about it though for like 20 seconds because my laptop's dying. I gotta go get my cord.
All right. So Erased. I'm gonna give only spoilers, so I'm not really a good source right now. But I will say that the art style is pretty solid. Like it's got good lighting and good background work. I think is what sticks out the most. I don't really have it in reference right now, but from what I can remember, like. It's a good style. I think, something I can always compare it to is like, my girlfriend's even more critical than I am on the art tip.
Big surprise there. critical.
Well, I mean, it just works. Like we talk shit about people's art. It's what we do together when we're in public. But in this case, when it comes to anime, I promise you, Al, when it comes to anime, if she sees one character that is drawn in a disgusting way, or sees like a piece of snot or something like that, like she'll stop watching the show. Like she won't watch One Piece because they cry and like blubber all the fucking time.
Well, then maybe my Asian recommendation is not the best. It's very realistic. It's not anything gross, but it is.
Well,
it's not drawn the greatest. It's not the best looking anime. It's that 3D kind of thing.
Oh, it's 3D.
I don't.
Well, I mean, we're not hating on it just based on how it was created, but like she doesn't like One Piece because of like how deliberately like weird or like over accentuated the like the snot and just gross elements were drawn. She just wasn't sticking with it, so like I can't watch that really with her. Like that's separate. And there's tons of anime in my catalog that I'm willing to watch solo, any anime for that matter. But some of them are attached to the girlfriend, so you got to choose which ones we're sharing. And this happens to be one that maybe might make the cut, but you know I'm a little nervous now. What you were talking about.
I'm getting nervous, man. I got extension cords. I don't know where I'm plugging this thing in, man. I'm falling apart. I'm like at 8%.
I'm losing the audience, bro. Like this isn't anything to talk about. I've jumped topics away from Erased. I don't even know the name of the anime we were just talking about.
Why the hell is it called Erased? What does that mean? Not erased.
I guess I think it's about the girl.
Or is it because he can erase what happened and like rewrite over it?
It's a double entendre.
Oh God, I love Will Smith.
Okay, man, that television is really important, even to me from this far. Please don't.
No.
All right.
Oh God, I'm dying. It's the thing when you smoke and then you stop smoking. It's your lungs feel like they're going to overflow with saliva and kill you. So there's. Hope you guys like the show.
Yep.
Did it work? What the hell? Oh, I gotta plug it into the. This is an unmitigated disaster, yo. Oh no. Okay.
Are you good?
So I want to talk a little more anime with you, Anthony, if that's possible.
Yeah, maybe just a couple more. You know, because like you're 3 for 3, and you know I can't add that many more to the catalog. I'm just
you're unfortunately gonna have to add about 15 more. Konosuba, God's blessing on this wonderful world is the funniest one. Like that's my mental choices of this season. Like it's the one on Crunchyroll where the guy dies. He dies like a bitch. He thinks he's saving someone from like a car, and he like thinks he's pushing her out of the way, but it's actually like a tractor that's moving at like 2 miles per hour. And he gets to heaven. And he's like, "Well, I saved that girl," and she's like, "No, actually, you died like a bitch. Like that girl wasn't even in trouble. You knocked her out of the way of like a slow-moving tractor, and then you died of shock. Like you didn't get hit by." He thought he got hit by a car saving a girl, but he actually just died. Like a loser. He was like a neat, one of those like not in education, not in training kind of people. Just, the Japan shut-in kind of scenario.
Yeah.
But it's the funniest one because it's the one where he's, this goddess is like, listen, you get another chance at life, but it's not going to be in your life. I'm sending you to like a fantasy, like RPG kind of world, and I will grant you one thing, one item, and you have to go beat like the demon god or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
And most people wish for like a weapon or something, and he's like, "Oh, I got this. I want you to come with me." And she's like, "What?" And then they both get like, sent back to this world. So it's just like he's with like this spoiled goddess basically, and he's just like this funny everyman. he's got a sarcastic sense of humor, and he's like a funny guy. He's not like he's not the typical protagonist from like say like Do Rah Rah Rah, where they come off as like very like aloof and like a nice guy. He's more. I wish you had seen Renee because it's more like that. He's like more just like a cocky kind of like funny kind of guy. But
Okay.
he ends up building this squad though, and they basically live in this RPG world and they get like missions. Like one mission was that they had to go like purify this lake that had a bunch of monsters in it and stuff like that. And when they finish the quest, they get money, and then they can continue to survive. And
Who's
slowly,
paying them?
hmm?
Who's paying these guys?
It's like a guild or something. It's like the town basically has the way that they go to find their quests is there's like a big billboard like you would see like at like the post office or something where you know you can go in and walk and see like a billboard of like jobs or something.
Yeah.
There's basically like 20 of them up and it says like what the job is and how much money you get and then you can just walk up there and pick one. And then,
Cool.
but it's just it's got I can't give you like a very specific example, but it has the best humor. Like if you are someone who likes anime that has a good sense of humor, I would say that Konosuba is the one. It's not a serious story. Like I said, it's like kind of like My Mental Choices where it's like over the top funny.
Yeah, My Mental Choices was incredible.
Okay, I'll tell you the one that cracked me the fuck up. Sorry, I hadn't been swearing a lot, but this cracked me just the heck up. He's got this one girl in his crew who uses explosion magic. Like that's her whole thing. But she's like part of the sense of humor of this is that everyone's just super limited. Like he's got thief power, but when he uses it, he usually accidentally just grabs everyone's underwear, and then they like run away in fear. Like he'll go for thief power to try to steal like a woman's like purse or something, but he'll come back with just her panties on accident. So he's like limited. So one anyway, this explosion magic girl, she's limited in the sense that she can use this insanely powerful explosion magic where it basically is just a huge fucking explosion off in the distance, like wherever she chooses. Like she just points at it and it blows up. But she can only do it once a day. And when she does it, she like loses all of her energy to the point where like she can't even walk. So like they basically get to use her for like one shot and then they gotta just lug her around after that. So one thing, there's one episode where she's like, I'm gonna train up my explosion magic. And she never got it past what I'm talking about. Like still currently in the series, she can use it once and then they have to carry her around. But she's like, I know, let's use that old abandoned castle up there. And every day he walks out, the main protagonist walks out with the explosion magic ma'am, and they walk out like a couple miles out of the city because her shit's too loud and everyone yells at her when she does it in the city and it's too catastrophic. And she just goes up to this castle and every day she just lands one massive explosion on it. And you can tell when she's walking up to it and she's like, let's hit that abandoned castle. You can just tell that they don't know if it's abandoned or not. Like, and the protagonist is just rolling with it. He's like, yeah, sounds good. He's like, Dre. He's like, yeah, let's do it. So he's like, yeah, sure, abandoned castle. And so they show like a montage where every single day she's going out there and doing it, and then they get closer and he starts to learn better about how, like how, like her power can help his and etc. And they're growing. And then like with like 5 minutes to go in the episode, they're all sitting at a bar and like this crazy like headless like Doulahan like horseman guy like comes up and he's like clearly a bad guy, but he's just like so frustrated. He's just like, who the hell is blowing up my castle every single day? And then there, you know, everyone's got like yell kind of moment, and it's just funny because like the whole time, like this went on for like an entire season, and it's getting stronger and louder every time, and you can just tell that at no point have they confirmed that no one's in it, and then it's very funny, and then he basically is. He's clearly stronger than them, but they're just not treating him with the respect that he desires, and he's just so frustrated.
Yeah.
And so he puts a curse on someone else in their crew. He's like, you have to come if you want to save your friend. Like, she's going to die in 1 week. Like, that's the curse I placed on her. And if you want to save her, you have to come to my castle and get through all of my guards. And they set it up like moving forward, like that's going to be the plot of the show. Like that they're going to have to go through this castle and through this thing and fight all this stuff, and they're like planning it out, and they're like, well, you only get 1 explosion shot, so we got to save you for when we really need it. And they're like gearing up and they're setting up, and then the goddess is just like, oh well, I'm a goddess of purification, so I can just take that curse right up off you. And so the episode literally just ends like right then. She just lifts the curse off, and at this point the Doulahan's already left, like laughing, like come if you dare, blah blah blah. And he just lifts the curse right off her, and they all laugh about it and move on. The episode ends. And so then you as a viewer, it was just like, it's a pretty funny joke, and you forget about it. And then I watched the next episode, which is like a whole thing, the one where they're purifying the water. And that was really funny because they just put the girl that can purify water, they just threw her in a cage and like threw her into the water to protect her from the monsters, because the main protagonist, like I said, he's like a dick. Like, he is not honorable. He's not the guy that's like, I will protect you from these monsters. He's like, I got an idea. He just puts her in like a cage and throws her in the water, and they're basically they're transporting her like she's like King Kong, and she's just like super embarrassed by it. But anyway, you get to the end of the episode and you think it's over, and the guy, the Doulahan shows back up. You totally forgot about him. He's just like, why didn't anyone come to my castle? And then the episode ends again. So it's just really funny that they've got like a frustrated neighbor, like that's an evil headless horseman that they just refuse to acknowledge.
Sounds like some Adult Swim shit.
It is. It's very similar to Adult Swim. It's got the best sense of humor, like by far, and it's a comedy for the most part.
Now, I will say during that last monologue, I would say that,
Soliloquy.
It reminded me of One Punch Man for some reason that I can't recall right now. But does Dave know of One Punch Man?
Dave might know of One Punch Man. Maybe that is the one. But except I think we watched the first episode together. I don't think he was into it. So here's the problem, is Dave wants something lighthearted, but he's the hardest person to, and all anime fans can relate to this. They've got some guy who's just like, he's a great guy, but he's very select about what he's going to watch. And he's like a film buff, and he knows all the old ones, and he just requires so much. Like, he needs it to, and the fact that he threw in lighthearted is not helping, because he needs like a beginning, middle, and end. He needs a full plot, and he needs it to be like a really good story. Like, he can't do Konosuba because it's just stupid. And he can't do One Punch Man because it's just stupid, in my opinion.
Man, I just jumped back on it. Like, I watched like 2 episodes last night. I
only saw like the first 3. I don't remember them very well.
Pretty cool, man. The new characters they introduce, like they just come in there and bring in devastating. It was the bomb girl. You brought up the bomb girl, some explosions or something. I think episode 2 of One Punch Man just had somebody literally obliterate the entire block. Like, it was a full, it was a full city.
Is it that guy that becomes his helper dude?
Yeah. It's the helper dude.
I remember the helper guy, the blonde guy.
Yeah, he's really funny, actually.
Yeah, no, he
kind of seems like somebody that we need to like look into as inspiration. Hint, hint.
Right. Yeah. He'll inspire someone. All right. Inspire someone good as hell. Remember when I told Mario Lopez that he was looking good as hell, and he laughed?
Good as hell.
So hard. Like,
yeah, it's really hard to break Mario Lopez's fucking like just his perfect God, he's good at that. Like, he's just the perfect live person. Like, there's nobody that's a better host. Nick Cannon, like, literally watches Mario Lopez every night before he goes to bed so that he can one day be like him.
Right. And yeah, that's real. We love Mario Lopez so much. Like, we're not exaggerating. First off, we love Dance Crew, and he used to host Dance Crew. So we went to live tapings of Dance Crew because we lived in Burbank, and they were filming it like right in Burbank, California, where just north of Hollywood, where they film everything basically. And they were filming that at the WB lot. Do you remember how mad the security guard at the WB got when I asked him if it was hard to control the Animaniacs at night? He did not think that was funny. I was like, I thought I was the cleverest person in the world. I was like, there's a WB security guard. I'm going to ask him if it really is that annoying to control these Animaniacs every night. Like, they just pop out of the tower and raise hell. And the best part was he was like fat. He had the beard. Like, he looked like that security guard from Animaniacs. I
remember the guy.
Found zero humor in it. But anyway, after we got through that and we were watching it, Mario Lopez, he goes out, he introduces the dance crew, and then he runs back. We happen to have the seats. They were like right in the corner to the tunnel. So when he was coming in, basically every time I got to say one thing to him. And you know me, like, I'm not going to miss that opportunity, and I don't care. So I was just yelling shit at Mario Lopez all day. So I love Mario Lopez. We also used to go to the Grove Mall and watch him do his Hollywood show. I followed him to his car. That was maybe too much. I followed him to his car. There's video footage of me being like, I am following Mario Lopez to his car. I like abandoned my mom. She was like at the mall with me, and I was just like, hold on, Mario. And she was like, what? And I was gone because he stormed off. It was funny. Like, he got mad that they wouldn't give him a new shirt. He was like, we're filming multiple episodes at once, and you need to change my shirt so that it's very unprofessional to wear the same shirt. Then they're going to know that we filmed all this on the same day. And he got mad about it and stormed off in like
at the Grove.
At the Grove into the parking structure.
All right, so let's just get this straight, because I wasn't there for this, nor do I remember the story. But you're telling me that Mario Lopez stormed off set where he was filming in the Grove, which is a mall that has T-shirts literally, probably most likely like 20 feet from where he was filming.
Oh, you know that he's a special kind of buff, man. He's got to get all those perfect shirts.
But the Grove is that mall.
True.
The Grove is that mall. Like, that's where Mario Lopez shops.
I know. Mario Lopez is handed his clothes by the Roman gods themselves. He was also sculpted by the Roman gods. But yeah, he freaked out, and I freaked out, and then I followed him because he had to have a cool down moment, and I was like, this will be the best thing. But honestly, he's a ninja because I turned the corner and he was just fucking gone. I think he has shadow clones. I think
Mario hit him with that Ron Artest talk with Kobe Bryant. We're gonna just follow him into his angry car situation and then talk to him while he doesn't want to be spoken to.
Ron Artest followed Kobe Bryant into the shower after Kobe Bryant lost the finals one year and consoled him. Kobe Bryant's main response was, "You're not on either of the teams that played in this game. Why are you here? Also, I'm naked and showering. Why have you joined me in the shower with all of your clothes on? Aren't your shoes getting wet?" And Ron Artest's shoes were getting wet. Yeah. So that's basically that story. But anyway. That
was you.
I don't even know what show we're... Oh, Konosuba. Whatever, man. That one's funny, though. You really should check that one out. And that one's on Crunchyroll, so that's really easy.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, you sold the other ones better, but, like, we had a more fun talk, you know what I'm saying, on the Cadoba, so...
I'm telling you, man, it's the funniest one. Like, it's going...
You compared it to Adult Swim.
You compared it to Adult Swim, but it's
that's right. I'm projecting. Gorilla Glue.
See, like, I'm gonna try to hold back because, all right. So basically, I am currently watching 12 new ones, like new, that started at episode 1 this season. Undefeated Bahamut Chronicle, I told you that's a download. It's probably not worth it for me to recommend it to you. There's other ones I'd rather you watched. Myriad Colors Phantom World, also on Crunchyroll. It's interesting because they've made their own universe where just anything can happen, kind of like an Alice in Wonderland, kind of like these phantoms can jump out and suck you into your own dream world kind of thing. So every episode is very different because every episode they're basically half the time they're in like a different dream world, and half the time it's very interesting, and it's drawn very well, and it's philosophical. I think that's the main thing about that one, the Myriad Phantom one that I like, is it and you can get the philosophy though of each one in the first 2 minutes. Basically, they like to throw a little bit of random philosophy at you before the theme song, and then the episode after the theme song will impart that wisdom back onto you via a story. But they'll give you a concept at the beginning. Like in the beginning of one, they were talking about the concept of the family and how it's evolved over time, and how no matter what civilization that you live in over time and throughout the world, there's always been a family unit. And that's just one of the bizarre things that all civilizations have in common. And then the episode was about like this girl trying to find her family kind of deal.
Yeah.
So, but it is, I will say that the execution of the episodes is not as interesting as the universe that they've created or the philosophy that they throw at you. But I think that honestly, it would give you an entertaining 15 minutes to go through the 6 episodes and watch the first 2 minutes of each of them, because it's. I wouldn't recommend it beyond that though, and I don't even necessarily need to discuss it beyond that.
Okay, I'll take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, take it with a little salt.
I should have said a drop of soy sauce. No,
that's racist. I think that
appropriation, racist, classless.
So I don't know. Dude, Norn 9 is still really cool. Norn 9 is that one where they're flying around on the spaceship that handpicks you. Like, and you don't realize that the spaceship, or the people on the spaceship don't realize that they think that they're the ones hand chosen to save the world, but they're actually the ones that are being hand chosen to rule the world. And everyone else in the world thinks that this spaceship is evil, as far as I can tell. Like, whenever they actually go on the land, they kind of learn more and more about the way that they're viewed. But it's interesting because it's 12 people, 9 men and 3 women. So little gangbang action, spoiler alert. It's interesting because, how can I put this?
How can I put this?
How can I put this without like just fully going into thriller mode and freezing as a thriller guy? Yeah, it turns me into Thriller, dude. I mean, dude made Thriller. Best thing I can say about it. No, it's cool because these 12 people, they don't know each other from before. 2 of them know each other. I think they've got a backstory together, but for the most part, like, they don't know each other, and they've agreed to not tell each other's powers, because then if everyone starts learning each other's powers, they'll be able to take advantage of each other, and you know what I mean? It's like a power check, like checks and balances kind of system, where you slowly learn what people's powers are based on the situations that they're put into. And in like one of the first couple episodes, there's a break-in, and it appears to be helped by someone internally. So while they're all flying around on this ship and trying to figure out like who's got what power and what's going to happen when the ship finally gets everything that it needs, you're kind of wondering who the bad guy is amongst the crew. You know, who's the bald guy from the Matrix that got promised a steak to sell everyone out. You remember that in the Matrix, where the bald white guy is like he sells.
Yeah, I just saw him recently in an image for whatever the heck I was doing. I saw him like yesterday.
Yeah, and it's just like, man, I fucking love the taste of steak. Like, please just make me forget all of this, and I will sell.
Yeah.
And I will sell out the Nebuchadnezzar and give you Morpheus, and the 2 brothers can both get it.
a jacked up thing to do, man.
It was a jacked up thing to do. But Nor 9's really dope, but again, the problem is it's a download one, so you'll never see it.
I'll never watch it.
I think what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to save them, because usually I just blow them away after I torrent them.
Yeah.
I'm going to start saving them, and then at the end of the season, I'm just like literally going to send you in the mail like a flash drive. And then you'll...
Hey, don't do that though, because actually I did that very recently, and it very much so got robbed while it was in transit. It just gave Dave like a good old empty envelope.
Really?
Yeah, man.
That
They
sucks.
did. And what's even worse is like, yeah, I did go buy it at Staples, the most expensive place to buy a 16 gigabyte stick. But in addition to that, they like even put a little slip in it that said like, we know that this package isn't the way that it was sent, so we tried.
Well, there's got to be some sort of insurance or something on that. I don't know how the post office works, but I feel like they're just as much of a monopoly as the car insurance people that are yelling at me right now. I don't have the money for car insurance. I'm sorry. I can't pay you. I can't give you what I don't have, citizens insurance. Sorry.
Take that.
Sue me, which they are going to soon.
29 years old.
I don't have money for car insurance. Divine Gate is pretty cool, and it was like a fence one for me until one of the last episodes I saw where a bunch of people got murdered in a mall with swords. And it's not so much a spoiler, but just know that
was that a good thing to you or a bad thing?
It was awesome. It was, they called it Christmas or something, and it was like shopping day at the mall. Everyone's trying to get Christmas gifts. Moon's up, moon's blue, and some guy just shows up in the mall with swords and murders 666 people, I believe it was. Because what he did was he jumps down, he says, some like, random fucking line about the moon being blue and about him being a hot, sad guy or something. And he basically jumps down and just slices someone like right in the chest. And then everyone starts freaking out like someone just got murdered in the mall. And they all go to run to the doors. And he's got these ice powers. And because the swords are made of ice. And he just freezes all the doors out to the mall and freezes all the windows. And everyone's trapped in the mall. And he walks around casually murdering everyone one at a time. And it is intense. I think it's episode 5 or 4, but
damn, dude. I saw episode 1. Like most of these I have been introduced to.
Right.
I didn't pursue past probably 2 max on any of them. So wow. Divine Gate, huh? That's the army one.
No, that's Gate.
Fudge. Like, come on.
And we'll get to that because that one.
Come on.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's all right. Gate's funny because it's just total bullshit army propaganda, but it's also a good story, so I'm going to keep watching it, but it's so much like, we're the good guys. We're here to protect you.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. Okay.
We're the army. We're on your side.
Get on our side.
Our side! You just want to look through your email. Yeah. See your nudes you've been Snapchatting to people. They can just ask.
I'll add you.
Yeah. But Divine Gate, it's so on the story, I would say. It's interesting. It's not copying anything else necessarily, but it's okay. But it finally had a really cool episode, which is what I wait for with these shows. You need like one episode that's just like, I can show to someone and be like, here, now, hopefully now that you've seen this cool episode, it's worth it to go back and start from the beginning and get caught up. But that one episode that I gave was cool.
It's very important for us to share. You have to hit them with the hotness.
Burbank is still cool, or BBK/BRNK, and we've been.
Bro, I was so overwhelmed with Burbank.
Burbank is cool because you're slowly figuring out that it's like a game. Like it's truly like like it is. I can't necessarily. I feel like I'd be giving away spoilers if I gave away too much, but like it's a game to the point where there's rules. Like they're all in a crew and they're all walking around, and then someone will attack, and they'll attack a certain person in the crew, and it's like a duel. And it's like there's rules to the point where that other person can't even help you. So like example, the main character, he's got his crew, and one of the girls in his crew gets attacked by a guy, and they have to literally sit and watch because they physically are not capable of interfering. Like that's just part of the game.
So
like
they're just frozen up.
they couldn't do it if they wanted to. They're not frozen up, so they find ways to, like for example, the one guy, like you can still defend yourself because you're not the one in the duel. So basically, the guy found a way to get around the rules by like walking in the middle of the fight and then defending himself. But he was really helping the girl, but he wasn't technically breaking the rules. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, it's strange.
So
I'd have to watch it some more. I was overwhelmed with all the terminology and stuff, but I realized that I was in like the universe introduction episode. But
doesn't even matter.
yeah, I know that shit pisses me off though. Like
basically, from what
you
I
have to reveal slowly. Like don't overflow me.
Basically, from what I gathered, there was originally like a super being of some sort that had like a left arm and a right arm and a left leg and a right leg. And then there's another being that's similar to it that also has these four appendages. And randomly, like 4 people have been given the 4 appendages for the one and the 4 for the other. So like if you have the right leg, you got to go find the other right leg or something. Like I forget if it's that you have to go find the other left leg, but you get what I'm saying. Like you have to fight a particular person so that you get both of what you have.
Yeah,
it's almost like a card game. And so,
huh.
and you're playing Go Fish.
Yeah,
and you got to get the same kind. So when the guy with the right leg shows up and challenges the other person with the right leg, the person with the left arm isn't allowed to jump in there. And it's just kind of like and one of the backstories was that this one girl had this power ability within her, but it was latent and she hadn't really awoken it yet, and she was ashamed of it and she didn't want to awaken it. But the guy who was eventually going to have to beat her in this game knew that. So he pretended to be her friend, pretended to find her, pretended to be like her sensei for like years. And like they were like friends for years.
yeah.
He didn't realize that he was the one with the other half. So he was just raising her ability so that when the game started, which starts at the beginning of when the anime starts, like that was his end goal. Like he operated as her sensei and like her friend for years and then just let her go off. And then he comes back to attack her like the second the game starts.
It's dark.
It is pretty dark. It's cool though.
Yeah, it's cool. Dark always means good.
Dimension W had a really good episode the other day that kind of helped me understand what the hell they're talking about. Dimension W had like a good 2-part episode where they're at a haunted hotel, and it was just very trippy and whatever. Did you watch Dimension W?
Just one, just enough to know that it's just way too aggressive on comparisons.
It is very similar to Type Zero, but it's not anymore.
Yeah, no, we took care of that already. But
the first episode,
it's an interesting sci-fi setup.
Well, the best part about all these shows that steal from directly from our Google Drive is that they don't actually know like the heart and soul behind the idea. So what they do is they just take the idea at total face value and just say it. And then they like never come back to it or expand upon it.
Yeah.
So they stole the node thing and they stole father and they stole but they only used it for like an episode and then they forgot about it.
Those fools.
You liked Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash, right?
Yeah, that was interesting. Real Power Ranger, a little bit.
What did you like about it?
I think from what I can recall, I liked how they took their time in comparison to not Dimension W. What was the one we were talking about before that?
Burbank.
Yeah, Burbank. In comparison to Burbank, they took their time in revealing everything, and everybody's individual powers were also just a nice, good pace to that. And I like the reveal. I like seeing the character development pretty much from that one. And I wasn't grossed out by the whole Gremlin thing, but whatever.
I thought that was horrific where they're learning how to kill goblins. They like learn how to kill goblins and it's like it'd be like if me and like my crew tried to do it right now.
Yeah. It's like hunting for real.
Well, it's a classic fish out of water story where these people are basically Sword Art Online style a little bit, except they have no memories. They're taken from assumedly our time and they're thrown back in time, or not back in time necessarily, but into like this RPG kind of world where you know you have to get like a priest and a swordsman and you know all that stuff. And it's interesting because we're gonna find out why, we don't know yet, but they clearly were taken from the real world because like at one point the guy like reaches in his pocket, he's like, "Where's my cell phone?" And then his following line is, "Wait, what's a cell phone? Why do I remember? Like, I don't even know what that is." And there's another guy who likes to like chisel things and he likes to make stuff. Like he's the big lovable grunt with a, you know, he's like the big, he's their strong man, but he's also got the strongest heart of the crew. And anyway, he likes to chisel stuff and like he's like a wood maker kind of guy, and he makes an airplane. And he's like, "I don't know what this is, but for some reason I wanted to make it." So it's like they still have their memories of like airplanes and cell phones and things like that in them, but they don't remember it and they don't know where, you know, they're basically their lives started 4 days ago at age 14.
They can't remember their memories.
Yeah, there's no remembering the memories.
It's devastating.
So they all of a sudden though they're like broke and they have to kill goblins and stuff for like money, but they're just like normal people. And they make it super grotesque because the goblin's like begging for its life basically, and like you can see that it isn't really evil. And it's I thought it was going to be like a vegan moral. Like I thought in that we were going to learn that like killing animals is bad. I thought that was where we were going, but actually they just got much better at it. And now they just murder everything. But
but it's not as disgusting anymore. Like they won't be just doing it that way unless it's like a big kill. Hopefully.
You know what's interesting though is and I didn't even recommend it to him, and he's not usually the type to like the new ones because he's an anime snob. Dave Straczynski was like, "Have you seen this Vanguard Fantasy and Ash one? It's actually pretty good." So I don't know. I can't tell.
So he just found that one on his own. Just was like, you know what, I'm gonna like this one.
Yeah, and he does.
I hate that because like I spent this entire last hour like basically just trying to find one for him. Like I feel like that's what animeism is supposed to be doing for people, is just getting people onto anime, just spreading the gospels.
I'm desperately trying to spread the gospel.
Yeah.
The last one that of the new ones that's worth watching in my opinion, but I wouldn't even highly recommend it that much to you necessarily, is Schwarz's Marken. The German, East German. It's basically East Germany and West Germany and the United States versus like these aliens, but during the Cold War and during the time when the Germanys were split in two. So it's a lot of politics. It's a lot of like East Germans trying to prove that they're superior to the West Germans, and the West Germans trying to act all snobby and trying to say it's just like a lot of politics, but it's an interesting story. It is a mech, so it's like
man, like it's really not hitting hard. You know, it's mech. It's historic.
I don't think it's for Ant. I like it, and I think that it's good.
You know, for if somebody else heard that, hopefully they're into that and they appreciate the recommendation.
Well, Anthony doesn't really like mechs, and I don't either, because I find that the animation not the animation, but I find that the fight scenes are very repetitive and stupid and soulless. It's like pew pew pew, just like a lot of things firing lasers at each other like Power Rangers out in space, and it's just like arbitrary who hits who. But sometimes these mechs have the best sci-fi plot. That's the only thing that I can say, is that like Undefeated Bahamut Chronicle, or however you say it. Floyd made fun of me. I don't know how to say that word. Bahamut.
Oh, Bahamut. Bahamut.
I say things like
Bahamut.
that's how the Japanese do it.
Bahamut.
Spelled Bahamut. That's what I'm gonna call it, Bahamut. Ooh, I wanna take you to Bermuda, Bahamut. So other than that, man, I'm telling you, like, the short ones are not that great this season. OG-san and Marshmallow is kind of funny. It's very lighthearted. It's just about a girl who really likes this fat guy that he really likes marshmallows. That's literally the entire plot. They're like 3 minutes long. It's on Crunchyroll. I don't want to talk about it. There's Please Tell Me Gaoko-chan, which is kind of funny, but it's just super crude humor about like periods and breasts, but it is funny. Sushi Police. I'm telling you, man. Sushi.
I like the Sushi Police. Don't need to be sold. I like it.
It's very hard to find. You basically have to go on GoGo Anime. That's where I watch it. GoGoAnime.com.
Very easy to find. It's on GoGo Anime.
It's just annoying because that's on the wrong side of the internet.
Yeah.
But Sushi Police is funny, man, and it's short and it teaches you about sushi. The last one taught me about where sushi came from and how it like started in China and made its way over to Japan. And it's just entertaining, and it actually looks like Pixar, like you saw it, like it looks cool.
Yeah.
The only one that I want to stress to you on the short ones, man, is Rainbow Days and Club Rainbow. Club Rainbow, not quite as good as Rainbow Days. Let me explain. It's on Funimation. It comes out on Sunday. They come out simultaneously, I think at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Rainbow Days is about 4 hot guys that go to high school together, and it's just like a comedy. It's basically like a love story comedy kind of thing where they're in clubs together, and there's an episode where they get challenged to play tennis, and they play tennis. And there's an episode where they all want to make, it's like sitcom-y. It's like watching Boy Meets World. It's like there's an episode where they all want to make like homemade chocolate for their new girlfriends. Just like very basic plots. And together, Rainbow Days and Club Rainbow are a full 22-minute experience. But basically, the show is like 14 minutes, and then I think the Club Rainbow thing is 10 minutes. And
what's up with that? Why are they doing that?
Well, because Club Rainbow is live action. Club Rainbow, do you remember, I forget which one it was. I think it was called Venus Project. And they did the same thing. It's probably the same company, I'd guess. I should have looked into that, but I didn't. Basically, the voice actors that play these 4 hot guys in Rainbow Days are 4 famous voice actors in Japan. For example, the main character of Rainbow Days is actually the voice of the main character from Sword Art Online.
Interesting.
And Club Rainbow is just these 4 guys hanging out in Japan, usually eating. So it's actually...
So they're not really acting too much?
No, it's more like a weird reality show.
Interesting.
It's like a reality show with like a narrator, the style of one of those obnoxious narrators on a reality. You remember do you remember the dating show where they've got like bubbles? It's like so famous of a reality show. And they've got like the bubbles of like what the person's actually thinking, and there's like a narrator.
Yeah. MTV used to do that shit.
Right, and the narrator's like kind of obnoxious.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that, where the narrator's just like, I wonder where we're gonna make these 4 voice actors go today, and then the guys are all sitting in a van and they like don't know where they're going, and they basically make them go to like a different restaurant or something. But it's cool because it's like a bunch of tours of Japan. It's interesting if you want to see Japan.
Well, it's easy enough for me, man. I'll watch that one too. I need to see Japan, and I need to see an interesting release strategy like that. You know, something that joins live action with like the actual anime. That sounds cool.
Rainbow Days is super funny. It's also just like like the one that like Konosuba's got the best sense of humor, but the one that has just like jokes that make me laugh like the hardest, where I'll just be like, "That's a really funny joke."
Yeah.
It's that. I can feel that I'm losing you. Like I can. Just,
sorry, I just Crystal just got here.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying.
So Kai's running around like a maniac. You know how distracting that is.
Hey. You've been nothing but positive. Please don't hurt me.
Please don't hurt me. But no, I mean, actually, I am sold. Like I said, that is interesting. So
it's cool to see them. And honestly, Rainbow Days is better than Club Rainbow. Like I enjoy the actual show better than walking around Japan, but it is interesting.
Gotcha.
Kai's being a little initial bet.
Yeah. Well, dares.
Well, that's probably good enough for now. I want to do another video at some point about the ones that I didn't like and just make fun of them, even though, like that one man that everyone says is the best one, that Showa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. Dude, it's hard to watch in my opinion. I told you that I dare you to watch it. It is the critically acclaimed one because it's the artsy one. It's basically like Rakugo is a style of Japanese like comedic storytelling, but it is not for us. Like it just goes on, and it is scenes that are like literally 8 minutes long of people like exaggeratingly telling stories in front of a crowd, and it's like it'd be like a show about learning the art of stand-up and having like the new guy who wants to learn how to be a good stand-up comedian versus like the old like guy teaching him how, but you'd have to watch like the full routine and it wouldn't be funny to you. I'm telling you, man. Anyway, like, well,
that's a good preview to what's to come. More
and it's
terrible anime.
People are gonna rip us apart because I'm telling you, everyone loves it, but it's only because they feel like they're supposed to. It's super artsy and they're lying to themselves. There's no way you can watch that first episode's 40 minutes long.
40?
Yeah, it's a double episode. There's no way you can watch that without like pausing it or getting bored or something. No way. I challenge you.
All right. Well, I'll take and fail that challenge willingly.
I doubt that you will. So we will talk next time about the ones that we didn't like, and maybe about some of the continued ones that we do like Do Ra Ra Ra, Haikyuu, etc. I will say, just off the top of my head, Yamishibai, pretty disappointing this season. Pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And
I only watched one just so that I could creep somebody out, but yeah, I could tell that they weren't on their game. They didn't even have the intro.
Yamishibai, Jikan Daio. They don't.
I need that. Yamishibai.
The bad guy or the bad guys, the monsters are just like it's like Cloverfield syndrome, where like the problem with that movie that everyone said is that the monster was really scary until you see it, because the old saying goes in film that your imagination is a lot more powerful than anything that I can physically show you. So the problem with all these ghost stories is they're creepy. It's only like a 5-minute episode or whatever. It's like it's creepy, but then they always show you the monster at the end, and it's like just some like absurd, like it's not what it used to be.
Yeah, it was better. You can't even talk shit about it as a whole because you have to compare it seasonally.
No,
it must be a different group.
The first one that I saw in the middle of the first season, where the woman is staying late at the school, and all of a sudden, like, the copy machine that she's using just starts like filling up with hair, and it's like printing out all this like long hair, and it just like that was creepy, and it ended creepy. Like, it's the first couple seasons were good, but they're out of ideas, man. They're in it for the cash grab right now.
And we're gonna tell it like it is, man. We're gonna have to tell them like it is. If you do shitty, we gonna say something about it.
Fuck Naruto. God, I love that show.
Naruto. I don't even know what is that.
Dude, I'm trying to watch the filler right now because I mean I couldn't do it anymore for a while, and I was watching like I got to the part where he put up the fucking infinite Tsukiyami or whatever into the sky.
Yeah.
And it has been like 26 episodes of filler since then.
Yeah, I know. I retired at that point. I'm done.
Yeah, I'm trying to watch it right now, but it's really hard, dude. It's like extremely difficult. It's like a true test of patience.
I'm even just looking through the catalog of episodes sometimes to see if like the filler broke so that I can see like a quick update of like anything cool. But actually I stopped doing that like this year. So it's February. I'm done with Naruto.
It's like Floyd says, he watches the first minute and the last minute because that's the only time that takes place in reality. Like and all it is literally is watching a new person get wrapped up in bandages. Then they have some hallucination dream that has nothing to do with anything other than like keeping these manga artists busy.
Yeah. Bringing the monies.
All right. Well, so that was our fun update, mid-winter 2016 update. We hope you enjoyed all of the horrific tangents about like Mario Lopez and Kobe Bryant that we went off on.
Yeah.
Last thing I will say to you, Anthony, is please do me a favor, and tonight, grab Crystal, do whatever it is that she wants for a while because she deserves it, and then make her watch episode 11, 12, and 13 of Lupin the Third.
Okay.
Dream of Italy Part 1, The Dream of Italy Part 2, and The End of Lupin the Third. They are 3 of the best episodes of anime that I have ever seen, and you do not require seeing the previous 10.
That's incredible. I don't have much time. That's a full hour of anime, and like we crash at like 9:45. So we gotta eat some food and get to watching some Lupin then.
You gotta do it.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna do it then.
Peace out.
Sayonara, y'all.